Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. We have another news section. I realize I'm recording this video on Thursday instead of Friday. That's because we have some special things planned for the Friday, and I was thinking about just tabling the news for the week, but then I started looking at it going, man, there's so much good news. How could we possibly skip the news this week? So let's go ahead and dive into our main news. We're going to be talking about cell phone spies, primarily a lot of other interesting spy privacy type stuff. So we start out. Would you pay $700 plus a $7 a month monthly fee to play a digital license plate with a GPS tracker and an RFID chip? People, I mean, I think everyone that likes this idea, we should just round them all up and send them in some other country for a while. Because this is insanity. There is no reason we should pay an extra $700 for a license plate and a monthly subscription fee just for the lovely privilege of being taxed. Because that's where this is going to go. It is a digital license plate that, yeah, sure, you can put a custom message on there like, be kind to bicyclists or whatever. And then, of course, the thing is it has a GPS tracker. They're tracking it like, oh, you can keep track of everything. You can do the waypoints. You can see how many miles you've driven. Yeah, I can see how many miles I've driven with an odometer in my car. Thank you very much. Sure, there's legitimate applications for something like this, but ultimately these types of things are the first stepping stone to get into centralized data where all of our location, exact location and mileage are happening. And realize that GPS tracking in cars is what's being used to propose in some states new legislation based upon taxing people by the miles, and the government can have access to everywhere you've gone every exact mile you've gone at the very point in time you've gone there. Total tracking. It's the same thing we do with our cell phones. We just carry our cell phones everywhere. In this case, we're carrying this everywhere. This is insanity. It's insanity. That's all it is. Insanity. And so, would you pay $700 plus a monthly fee for a digital license plate? Now, some privacy experts are saying, yeah, why are we giving all this data to one company? Well, what's the difference? I mean, Google has all our data. Facebook has all our data. What's another company? This is called R-Plate. They're producing these plates over here, and of course, they look much like the regular California plates. They'll display your registration on them. Right there, and then of course you can put in little things, watch for cyclists. During the NBA Finals, I have it set to "Let's Go Warriors." That's a pretty pricey tag to put on a license plate, though, And then of course it has GPS tracking, it has RFID tracking, so you can be tracked in two separate ways as you are navigating through. Yeah, modern day LoJack. Suppose somebody steals your car, you can see where it is. I mean, there's other ways, man. There's other ways. This is insanity. This is insanity. But this is where we're moving. We've just totally lost all cognitive thought of any degree of privacy, and they're billing this as some amazingly positive thing. It's not, people. You're just giving everything away to anybody and I don't even know if this is convenience. I think this is just novelty. We're just giving away everything for novelty. This reeks of the people who were giving away social media designed literal cookies in exchange for enough information to hack into your bank account. Okay? That's how crazy this is. But the novelty of it is selling this kind of stuff, and it's insane. Of course, we have facial ID. London has this new facial ID thing they're testing. It has a 98% false positive rate. It gets the thing wrong 98% of the time, but they're using it because, quote, this is what the public would want. Only if you're the public that pays $700 and a $7 a month monthly fee to have a digital license plate that tracks everything you do. We have lost it in our world, people. We've lost it. This is insanity. Total insanity. So the London, of course, they're testing this entire thing. It doesn't work. It has a major false negative rate. Basically, it's identified like two people correctly so far. And there's been more than 100 people fed into this thing. It is so screwed up. It gets things wrong 98% of the time, and that's what the public wants. Somebody's smoking something good. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Yeah, there was a blocking bug in Facebook. This is neat. So, you can go onto Facebook if you're still on Facebook, and you can go on there, you could block certain people, stalkers, crazy people. I mean, I blocked people on there that I did not want having any access to anything that I would ever possibly do. Well, this would actually allow anybody in your block list randomly would be able to access everything that you got. I mean, so if you had some crazy internet stalker that you've added to your block list, this little bug showed up that it basically be somewhere between May 29th and June 5th. People who were blocked could still see everything that you were doing. Did not reinstate any friend connections that had been severed. Okay, so you didn't wake up one day and say, oh, hey, I thought I unfriended you a while ago. 83% of the people affected by the bug had only one person they had blocked temporarily and unblocked. And someone who was unblocked might have been able to contact people on Messenger who had blocked them. Yeah, Facebook, it's all about the privacy. Don't worry. Facebook, they're just all on the privacy. So much so that they've finally detailed information about these sharing agreements. Now, I talked about these about a month or two ago, where they had agreements with several different companies, and some companies were like, oh, we've never had any types of agreements. Facebook's like, kind of quiet about it. Well, it was all in the report. The 700-page report sent to Congress actually identified this, and there were 52 different hardware and software companies, most of which were previously undisclosed, that had essentially varying abilities to access user data. Whether it was messages, whether it was posts, whether it was friends, a whole lot of things, a whole lot of partnerships, just tons of stuff, tons and tons and tons of stuff. So they had different working relationships. Apple, Microsoft, BlackBerry, of course. These were for the phone manufacturers so that they could get their app embedded directly into the operating system itself. And this is bad. I mean, you get a phone now and it has a permanent Facebook connection into it. How do we have any confidence at all that these things still aren't leaking data, even if you do not have a Facebook account or don't ever activate it? That's the insane part about this. So they have of course that. They also have agreements with a variety of other different places. Any type of data type companies. 38 of the 52 have already ended. Of course, they have Amazon, Apple, Toby. Collected apps for those suffering from ALS to use Facebook, Amazon, and Apple. I mean, so here's the list. I've never even heard of some of these. Kind of exciting. Oh, Garmin, that's exciting. GPS. Oh, look at that. Mozilla, one of my favorites. So, like, why Mozilla? So they could push the notifications to you. But that means that if you've enabled notifications on a Mozilla web browser, Facebook very possibly is getting some of that data as well. Lots of fun stuff. Oh, Yahoo! So you can assume that none of this is private or safe, thanks to Yahoo. And I thought there was another one here too. I did have another Facebook one, but I think I put it somewhere else. This is a neat one here. So if you happen to have your lovely little Samsung phones, like I don't want Apple, so I'm going to use Samsung. Well, the Samsung messaging app is randomly sending photos for users. So basically it's through the Samsung texting app that comes pre-built on the phone. And you get in there to basically you have no record of it. It doesn't appear in your phone list, but it legitimately sends because you can get online to your online log through your cell phone carrier and see the message sends. What it's doing is in some cases it's just grabbing individual random images. In some cases it's literally texting your entire photo library to random contacts. Kind of like Amazon Echo. Hey Alexa, order me some unicorn meat. Recording the whole conversation and just sending it to a random person on your contact list. So, if you got any bad pictures in there, anything scary you wouldn't want anybody to see, Be careful, A, what pictures are on your phone, and B, whose contacts are in your phone. You know, you don't want your grandmother seeing photos. But anyway, nice stupid ad. Okay. In fact, I can't even see the rest of the ad because this website is built so horribly. But anyway, your Samsung Messenger app is sending random photos. You can temporarily block this by disabling access to your camera or to your photo library for the SMS Messenger if the thing allows you to actually work. I've demonstrated before that on several of those permission things, if you turn off certain permissions, the app just crashes. So that's always the fun benefit. You know, like, why does my camera need location services? To geotag photos. What if I don't want to geotag my photos? There's a thought. But anyway, your cell phone is very possibly spying. Of course, you have Gmail, because Gmail app developers have been reading your emails. What? Yeah, this kind of came out. Google is trying to downplay this a little bit. Oh, these guys are highly vetted. Highly vetted. Yeah, I still don't want highly vetted people that are undisclosed to me actually seeing any of my emails. Happens all the time. This is why I don't have a Gmail account. I don't want a Gmail account. Bad idea to have a Gmail account. All right, so common practice gone largely unnoticed. So, of course, I wanted to pull out some of the original articles, but they're all paywalled. Wall Street Journal, basically, any third-party app developers that work with several of the things in Gmail have had access to all your messages in there just so they can make sure that things are working. They could literally, here's the sentence. And while these apps do indeed receive and use user consent, in other words, you pulled the app up, would you like to give such and such app ability to access your Google account? Which, by the way, we're not just talking about the Gmail app. We're talking about any app you have installed on your phone, any app on your phone that has the ability to access your Google account. This, people, is why I don't have a Google account on my phone. Just a thought. All right. Gmail's access settings allows user data and companies' app developers to see people's emails, view private details, including recipient addresses, timestamps, and entire messages. While those apps do need to receive user consent, the consent form isn't exactly clear that it would allow humans, and not just computers, to read your emails. So legitimate humans can be reading your emails if you're using Gmail. But don't worry, they're highly vetted. All 15,000 of them that are uploading apps to the App Store maliciously are highly vetted people. Fear not, people. Google is in control. Google told The Verge it only gives data to vetted third-party developers with users' explicit consent. Has anybody ever said, hey, would you like these app developer real human beings to physically read your emails? If you have not consented to that, then no, you have not given explicit consent. Google, wake up. Okay, wake up. The vetting process involves checking whether a company's identity is correctly represented by the app. That's something that scammers and spammers do all the time. Its privacy policy states that it will monitor emails, like who reads those, and the data the company's requesting makes sense for what the company does, like who cares, not Google. An email app, for instance, should get access to Gmail. Some developers have applied for access to Gmail but have not been granted permission, although the company won't say how many. Yeah, there was that one. It was by the director's brother-in-law. Whoa! Google employees may also read emails, but only in very specific cases where you ask us and give consent, or where we need to for security purpose, such as investigating a bug or abuse. Well, that's ominous. Still, it's clear there are a lot of apps with access, from Salesforce to Microsoft Office. Yeah, that's all we need. Microsoft, human beings at Microsoft actually reading your emails. Yep. Two lesser-known email apps. If you've ever seen a request like the one below, when entering your Gmail account into an app, it's probably you've given the app permission to read your emails. And WSJ reports that even email services besides Gmail provide third-party apps similar to Access, so it's not just Google that may be having the issues. So here you go. Sample application wants access to your Google account. By the way, if it pops up and says sample application wants access to your Google account, just run and scream now. All right. So, you get all this. Of course, does this anywhere explicitly say that, yes, I explicitly give my consent for a human being to read my emails? The answer is no, it doesn't. And of course, if you push cancel, the whole thing just crashes. So some of those trusted companies include email managing firms, ReturnPath, and Edison Software, which have had opportunities in the past to access thousands of email accounts. Wall Street Journal talked to both companies, which said they had human engineers view hundreds of thousands of email messages in order to train machine algorithms to handle the data. Both ReturnPath and Edison Software policies mention that the companies will monitor email. Still, they don't mention that human engineers and not only machines have had access. Of course, since we have since stopped this practice and expunged all such user data to stay consistent with our company's commitment to achieving the highest standards possible of ensuring privacy. In other words, yesterday, like right before they released the announcement, man. That's when this happened. There's no evidence that third-party Gmail app developments have misused data. Yeah, there's just thousands of them out there. This is like Cambridge Analytical Google version waiting to happen, people. Waiting to happen. Oh, there's my other Facebook article. Facebook has bought UK's Bloomberry AI to ramp up natural language tech in London. So great. Now all the Facebook apps will have integrated Google Voice AI so that we can all get in here and listen. They can figure out what everybody's saying. This is just like another Cambridge Analytical sounding type thing. Yeah, now they're going to be listening to stuff. Well, they haven't been listening through the microphone up till now, but we're thinking about starting now that we've purchased a voice AI company. Their plan, of course, is to essentially develop a Cortana / Siri / whatever. By the way, if you are still using Skype, check your contact list today because Microsoft started rolling out Cortana on your contact list. Yeah, just what I need. A perpetual spy that I do not want anything access to on my contact list. Unfortunately, I still have to use that crap for business, and so... Oh, boy. So, in response to all of this looking around, and this is very similar to the research study that I tried to do on Facebook. I kind of stopped mine early because I just got sick of seeing porn. But what ended up happening is this group out of Northeastern University. I think I managed some websites for Northeastern. I think it's the same university. So this university, they decided to put forth a broad scale report to see, is your phone secretly listening to you? Is that microphone being turned on? So I was just looking at Facebook. They looked at, I think, 17,000 apps. So they looked at 17,000 apps, a variety of different phones, variety of different things, and what they are. They wanted to figure out: do the apps listen to what's going on the microphone? There you go, buddy. Do they listen to what's going on the microphone? And they found out that no, they're not listening to the microphone. It's far more ominous. Of these 17,000 apps, over 8,000 of them were taking random screenshots of your phone and sending them to weird and random third parties. So they looked at a variety of different things. They found no evidence of an app unexpectedly activating the microphone or sending audio out when not prompted to do so. So, looks like good scientists, they refuse to say their study definitively proved your phone isn't secretly listening to you, but they didn't find a single instance of it happening. Instead, they discovered a different disturbing practice: apps recording a phone screen and sending the information to third parties. Of the 17,260 apps, researchers looked at over 9,000 had permissions to access camera and microphone, and thus the potential to overhear the phone owners talking about their need for cat litter or how much they have a certain brand of gelato. Using 10 Android phones, the researchers and an automated program to interact with each of those apps, they then analyzed the traffic generated. A limitation of the study is that automated phone users could not do things humans could, like creating usernames and passwords and signing into an account on an app. Okay, they were looking specifically for any media files that were sent, particularly when they were sent to an unexpected party. Here's their actual setup. Pretty cool setup. Looks like this is a Mac Mini, and then they're utilizing a series of phones and things. So what they found is that they started to see a strange practice. It's the screenshots and video recordings of what people were doing in apps were being sent to third-party domains. For example, when one of the phones using apps from GoPuff, a delivery startup for people who have sudden cravings for junk food, the interaction with the app was recorded and sent to a domain affiliated with Appsy, a mobile analytics company. The video included a screen where you could enter personal information, in this case, their zip code. This isn't a total surprise because Appsy proudly touts its ability to record what users are doing in an app on its website. What bothered the researchers was it wasn't evident to the user that their behavior was being recorded, something which wasn't disclosed in GoPuff's privacy policy. After the researchers contacted GoPuff, it added a disclosure to the policy acknowledging that Appsy might receive users' PII, personally identifiable information, as quote, as an added precaution, we also pulled Appsy SDK from the latest Android and iOS builds, the startup said. Nothing wrong here. Nothing to see. Nothing to see. Appsy, meanwhile, claims it was GoPuff that screwed up. Appsy CEO told me that his company's terms of service clearly state that our customers must disclose the use of third-party technology, and our terms forbid customers from tracking any personal data with Appsy. Well, how do you take random screenshots without compromising personally identifiable data? There's a question we can see. This way. All right. In this case, it appears Appsy's technology was misused by the customer and that our terms of service were violated. Once this issue is brought to our attention, we've immediately disabled tracking capabilities for the mentioned app and purged all recordings of our data from our servers. Well, then what are legitimate uses? Because I've never heard of this company, and I look for these companies. I look for these companies so I can actively block them in my host file. And I've never heard of this company. So how many other apps are using it? Appsy was entirely blameless, though. Spokesperson for Google, who runs the Play Store, through which people get Android apps. Quote, we always appreciate the research community's hard work to improve the online privacy and security practices. A Google person told me by email, after reviewing the research findings, we determined that part of Appsy's service may put some developers at risk of violating Play policy. We're working closely with them to ensure developers appropriately communicate SDK's functionality with their apps and users. The Google Play policy says you must disclose to users how their data will be collected. Again, nobody's reading that. You should be reading that, but nobody's reading that. All right. GoPuff used Appsy, to help optimize performance of its app. Yeah. That old story again. It's all for improvement. So the recording wasn't unexpected on the company side, but it's concerning that a third party can record your phone screen with no notice to you. It illustrates the ease with which a malicious actor could potentially steal information from your phone. A screenshot or video of app interaction could capture private messages, personal information, or even passwords being entered, as many apps show the letter inputted before changing it to a black asterisk. Okay. Yeah, this is why you got to be very careful with the type of stuff that we have going on this. So this was a whirlwind of a ton of different articles here. What are your thoughts to these articles? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you've enjoyed this video from Switched to Linux. If you'd like to help support the channel, check out the links at the top. There is another video over here. You can check out our Patreon page down here. And you can check out shop.switchtolinux.com for information on a t-shirt like this or some other designs. Thanks for watching and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.